Hey there, and welcome to Noctis on YouTube. Many people dream of sailing on a large and luxurious cruise ship. This giant vessel is often referred to as a floating city, as it features amenities such as restaurants, bars, Broadway shows, a casino, multiple swimming pools, and deck attractions. With a capacity of up to 7,000 people, the cruise ship also offers a variety of itinerary options that can take passengers to explore various exciting tourist destinations around the world. Although cruise ships are very safe, safer than airplanes, trains, and cars, being very safe does not mean that the ship is 100% immune to anything that might happen during the voyage. At times, the ship must face various threats during its journey on the uncertain seas, ranging from bad weather, captain's errors, to piracy threats that can turn the dream vacation into a nightmare that was never expected.
Mayday! 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 This is the Viking Sky. You okay?
One of the threats commonly faced by civilian ships is piracy by pirates. The most famous piracy incident was the hijacking of the seaBurn Spirit cruise ship in 2005. While traveling through the waters off Somalia, two armed ships approached Spirit about 160 kilometers off the coast of Somalia while firing shots. Passengers panicked and rushed up to the top deck at that time. After a while, the pirate ship managed to overtake Spirit and change its course. The ship's captain maneuvered to avoid the pirate ship and tried to create waves to cause damage to the pirate ship. At one point, the cruise ship even came close to colliding with one of their own ships. Some passengers even recorded the moment through their windows as the pirates attempted to approach the ship. In the footage, they can be seen brandishing RPGs and machine guns. The pirates fired 30 RPGs at the stern, causing a fire, but luckily, the 10,000-ton ship only sustained minor damage, and all 151 passengers on board survived without injury. Eventually, the crew of the cruise ship managed to drive away the two pirate speedboats using a special sonic device. The response of a cruise ship when attacked by pirates varies depending on the situation and specific conditions. Some cruise ships are equipped with security equipment and systems that can be used to reduce the risk of pirate attacks, such as radar detection devices that can detect nearby ships. For close-range combat with pirates, there are water cannons. This method has been used for years to prevent pirates from approaching the ship. The strong jet stream of water is enough to flood or disrupt small pirate vessels. Even if they can still get close to the ship, the strong water flow will make it difficult for them to climb aboard. Long-range acoustic devices can also be used, as demonstrated on the Spirit ship, which produced a high-pitched sound to keep the pirates away from the ship. Moreover, cruise ships can take preventive measures, such as avoiding areas identified as dangerous zones, coordinating with authorities and other passing ships in the area, and providing security training for the crew and passengers. Some cruise ships also have special security teams that can take defensive action if a pirate attack occurs, such as using firearms or evacuation techniques. However, such actions are rare because most cruise ships tend to avoid dangerous situations and prefer to request assistance from authorities. Apart from piracy threats, another real threat is bad weather. One of the worst incidents was the evacuation of the Viking Sky in 2019. The luxury cruise ship carrying around 900 passengers was traveling through a strong storm in Norway when 25-meter-high waves hit the ship. The impact of the strong waves caused the oil pump to fail, which automatically shut down all engines. Without stabilization, the rough sea caused the ship to sway from side to side, making everything inside move along with it. This was a terrifying experience for the passengers. The ship also lost control, causing it to rapidly approach the shore. To overcome this, the crew released both anchors to prevent the ship from running aground, but it actually made the ship sway more severely than before. The ship eventually called for help and ordered the evacuation of the passengers. In such conditions, releasing lifeboats was very difficult due to the rough sea conditions. The Norwegian rescue team sent 6 helicopters to evacuate the passengers one by one by lifting them from the ship. In a few hours, more than half of the passengers were successfully evacuated in 30 helicopter flights. Fortunately, after the winds and waves subsided, the ship's engines started working again. The ship was towed to port, and all passengers were safely rescued. Cruise ships also sail in icy waters, especially in the Arctic and Antarctic regions. In icy waters, ships must always be cautious of icebergs that may appear small, but actually hide a massive iceberg underneath. Icebergs can cause serious damage to the bottom of the ship, such as breaking or perforating the ship's structure and triggering leaks. Even a collision with a large iceberg can cause a ship to sink, as evidenced by the past phenomenon that occurred to the legendary cruise ship Titanic on January 15, 1912. The ship sank after colliding with an iceberg in the North Atlantic Ocean. The main cause was negligence and a lack of attention to the potential dangers of icebergs during ship planning and navigation. Other factors, such as bad weather, lack of communication, and cooperation between the crew and ship officers, also exacerbated the situation, resulting in over 1,500 people losing their lives in the accident. In 2007, a similar incident occurred with the MV Explorer, a large polar expedition vessel. The ship was en route to Antarctica on a 2-week tour when it suddenly collided with thick ice. The collision caused the hull to leak and fill with water, leaving the vessel adrift. The captain then decided to launch all lifeboats and abandon ship. All passengers and crew were successfully evacuated, waiting for about 4 hours until a rescue ship arrived to pick them up. Although the ship eventually sank, the captain's quick and accurate decision saved all passengers without any injuries. Even with strict procedures and discipline in place, human error can still occur, leading to serious ship issues and potential loss of life. Common mistakes include errors in decision-making, procedural errors, communication errors, and operations. As happened with the Costa Concordia cruise ship on January 13, 2012, the ship left Civitavecchia, Italy, for a 1-week vacation. A few hours into the journey, the ship performed a sail-by salute near the island of Isola del Giglio, which meant the ship was about 250 meters from the island on an unplanned route. The captain deliberately did this to impress his partner, who was also on the bridge at the time. Due to the captain's negligence, the ship struck an underwater reef, and water immediately began entering the vessel. The captain then shouted contradictory instructions to the officers. At the same time, passengers began lining up at the lifeboats to save themselves. However, the captain appeared indifferent and delayed the launch of lifeboats for 15 minutes. Meanwhile, the ship began to tilt. After some pressure from the deputy captain, the captain finally decided to launch the lifeboats and leave the ship. While most passengers managed to board lifeboats and escape to land, some passengers were still trapped inside the ship. To make matters worse, the captain was among the first to leave the ship, claiming he accidentally fell into a lifeboat. The Italian Coast Guard, responsible for the rescue mission, was dissatisfied with the captain's actions. In the end, the captain never returned to the ship, and 32 people ultimately lost their lives. This incident became the worst cruise ship accident of the century. This was certainly a horrifying event, but on the other hand, we witnessed extraordinary bravery from the crew members, except for the Costa Concordia captain. Fires are also a significant danger on cruise ships. Although surrounded by abundant water, extinguishing fires on ships is challenging. Fires on ships can occur for various reasons, including passenger negligence, such as smoking in prohibited areas, kitchen fires, and engine fires. To address this, all modern cruise ships are equipped with complete firefighting equipment. However, some older cruise ships are known to be at risk of engine fires. Though frightening, most incidents like these can be handled quickly, allowing the ship to continue its journey as planned. In some cases, firefighting takes longer, as happened with the Carnival Triumph, a ship stranded at sea for 5 days without functioning toilets and limited power. From their courage to fend off pirates with acoustic devices, to their successful leadership in extraordinary rescue operations in Antarctica, there have been many impressive feats. Going back to the beginning, cruise ships are still safer than other modes of transportation. Comparing the worst cruise ship accidents with the worst aviation accidents, the latter involves hundreds of lost lives. The death rate on ships, even in dire situations, is quite low. Billions of passengers in the cruise ship industry experience a reduced death rate of around 0.02 compared to 0.07 for commercial flights, 0.43 for trains, and 7.28 for car transportation. Therefore, driving a car is almost 400 times more deadly than sailing on a cruise ship. This is not to scare people away from sailing or driving, but rather to demonstrate that even in the worst situations, there are mechanisms in place to ensure our safety. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.